What up? I got the question of the day. Oh, but before I give you today's question, I want to tell you where I was inspired by, because I get inspired by, you know, things in my life and things that I go to and people around me. And so I went to this workshop last night held by, it was my dear, dear, dear friend, Neal, who's amazing and awesome. And she's a sex and relationship coach. And I'll put her link and her website down below. But I went to this workshop last night and she posed a question similar to today's question, but I tweaked it just a little bit. And I thought that's a really good question, but I just changed it slightly. And so today's question of the day is, what is a low stress decision that has greatly improved your life? Did I get that right? Yes, has greatly improved your life. So let's talk about this. So let's think about that low stress decision, that decision that you're like, I didn't really have to think too hard about it, but you realize like it has paid out immensely, right? Not paid out like money, but just like it has greatly improved your life, right? Just making a small decision. Now, here's the deal. Before I continue, we need to talk about that word like low stress, right? So it's all like, it's subjective, right? Sometimes a low stress decision is like, hey, I'm gonna go back to college, or hey, I'm gonna go, you know, I'm gonna move to a new city. But for some people that's big stress. And so you get to define, right? We as individuals get to define what low stress really means. So think about what a low stress decision is and then like how it's really made a big difference on your life. Comment below and come be part of this judgment-free conversation. This is all about listening to each other and listening to ourselves, right? This self-awareness and self-discovery and being the best versions of ourselves as we possibly can, or at least a better version than we were yesterday. So I was thinking about this, right? Because I always, you know, answer these questions. And, you know, some low stress decisions, like last year, my husband and I decided to, you know, the awesome Chad, who's in these videos on occasion, and I talk about him, we decided to subscribe to Blue Apron, right? It's it's like the meal delivery service where they bring you all the ingredients and then you make the meal. And that was a huge improvement in our lives. And it's, like, to me, it was low cost. It was a low stress decision. We just decided to do it. And it's like, I always have meals here at the house, right? Chad and I always have a meal ready to go. So that was a low stress decision. Buying a heated mattress pad for our bed. That was a huge decision because I'm always cold. I'm always cold. So just something small like that has made a huge difference in my life, because when I go to bed, I get into a warm bed, and it's just, you know, all of these like little things that we don't really think about. I think about, now for some people this might have been like a not maybe a low stress, but for me it was a low stress decision to go to the Women's March on Washington back in January. And I made that decision shortly after the election when it came out. And it was just something that I didn't think about, but it's greatly improved my life because I got to meet Caitlin out of it, who inspired this question. I got to have this amazing experience. It's all of these like things that, you know, you just do like one small little tweaks, one small decision, and somehow like your life can be completely different. So I don't know, that's what I got. That's a little bit about me. Now I want to hear from you. What is a low stress decision? And remember, you get to define what low stress means. That has greatly improved your life. And thank you, Caitlin, for the inspiration for today's question. And hey, while you're here, subscribe, come hang out with us. This is kind of a cool place to be. And invite a friend, because the more people that are part of this conversation, the sooner we can change the world. Thanks.